Hello friends, how you doing? Day 13, lucky 13. So nice, I have to say it twice. Yes, I know his name. Anyway, hope you're doing amazing on this Saturday night. I am back. Oh my gosh, what a barn burner it was today. So hot. Woo! But I want to come in tonight and just, again, go back and talk a little about relationships. And so the title of my live today is, have you ever been discarded in a relationship? And so before I get into that, first of all, hopefully you can understand or have heard of attachment theory or attachment styles. Because if you do, then this will make a lot more sense to you. But essentially, very simply, attachment style will help you understand behaviors that people have and take in relationships. Because sometimes, have you ever been in a relationship or heard of people doing things that makes you go, what the, it makes no sense, or it's extreme behaviors? If you look into attachment style, it will explain everything. Okay, and this is assuming they're not extreme narcissists or mental issues, right? If you're the normal person, attachment style will actually explain a lot. Okay, so a discard. What is a discard? So a discard is essentially when there's a breakup. However, this is not a normal breakup. So a normal breakup, typically a couple, you will kind of see it happening, right? Let's say you've gone past the honeymoon stage, you've started to see each other's flaws, you start to get a little annoyed by the little things that you used to think were cute, and then you stop having those feelings of love, and you kind of just you start to nitpick, or you don't try as hard, or things just starting to go south, and now your rose-colored glasses are now off. You actually see the person as they are. And so, a lot of times the first 3 to 6 months, a lot of times you're dating somebody's representative. And so everybody typically puts their best foot forward at the beginning of the relationship. And then once they've gone past the 3-6 month mark, typically a lot of things start to come to the surface. And that's when you really see the type of person that they are, between the 6 month and the year mark plus. And so in a normal breakup, when things aren't going well, both people can kind of sense it and can see it, say, we're fighting a lot more than we used to. It's like, we've tried communicating, we've tried working on this is not working out. And you can both kind of see, it might be better to kind of, go your separate ways. And, any breakup is not an easy thing to do, especially if you've had a significant amount of time together. But that is a normal breakup. And when you can kind of see it coming, you deal with the situation, right? It may not be easy, but you deal with it. A discard essentially is when you're dating somebody and things are going really well. And typically, again, this goes back to attachment style. So there's 3 different attachment styles. I'm going to talk about the avoidant, okay? And so the avoidant, when you're dating an avoidant, typically they don't want to deal with their emotions. And so any conflict, they avoid it. Hence the term avoidance. And with a discard, typically things are going really well, and they typically love bomb you. They typically promise you many things in the future. And the challenge is, though, for most of them, if they still have their unhealed attachment wounds, they actually cannot follow through with all their promises. And so with the love bombing stage, for them, because they avoid a lot of their feelings, when they do connect with somebody else and get in a new relationship, they have all this love that was pent up, if you will, love. And now they're just essentially just what's the word? They're just putting it all on their new partner. And so the new partner feels, oh my gosh, this person's really into me. Oh my gosh, I really like them too. And just this euphoric feeling. All the dopamine hits, the serotonin, all these things, the neurotransmitters that pop, 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 pop. And everything seems to go really well. And then over time, that honeymoon stage starts to pass. And the thing is, with the avoidant, typically what happens is that as time goes by, things start to get real. Meaning emotions start to actually come up. And so if you've ever been in a relationship where when you start to ask somebody, hey, where are things going, or where are we at, right? If they want to avoid it, that may not be a sign. But if you want to talk about something deeper, they typically will avoid the subject, they want to change it, or they might start to feel pressure, right? The capacity is very low when it comes to that stuff. And so if you try to ask them certain questions, they may shut down. And so if you start to ask that, guess what? You might even find that within a week or even the next day, they might say, hey, you know what? This is not working out for me. I don't think this is going to work. And that's it. And they might start to ghost you. And so that can be very confusing because literally the day before, they were saying they love you, they see a future with you, they want to marry you, they want to have kids with you, and they want to move in with you. And then because you're wanting emotional intimacy, what happens is actually their fears get triggered. And they don't know how to deal with this. And so since they don't know how to deal with their fear, and it could be a fear of abandonment, fear of engulfment, enmeshment, it could be a number of things. And so when these fears get triggered, they typically run. They typically avoid. Because for them, it's something that's so intense, they don't know how to handle it. And ever since they were young, the way they coped with it was they actually, they suppressed the feelings. And again, all these things actually stem from childhood. Because most likely, an avoidant, so attachment style actually is formed during the first 4 or 5 years of a child's life, depending on how the caregiver was there for them or not there for them in terms of their emotional needs. So if their emotional needs were not met, if they were told to suppress their feelings, their emotions, I don't know, big boys, boys don't cry or what have you, right? Then they've learned, my emotions don't matter. So if my emotions don't matter, I'll just keep it to myself because the people, my parents that are supposed to be there for me and meet my emotional needs, they were not there. And so I had to learn how to cope with myself. And how they cope with it is by suppressing the emotions. And so what happens is as they grow in age, their emotional maturity actually does not mature along with them at the same rate. So they may be, in their teenagers, in the 20s, 30s, 40s, they are still emotionally maybe 10 years old. And so another thing with avoidance is that they avoid their feelings. They don't self-reflect. And that's the complete opposite of looking inward and actually self-reflection. And the only way you can actually grow is by self-reflecting. But they don't do that. And so because they don't do that, they don't understand their feelings. Most avoidants, they kind of understand that there's an issue there. They just don't know what it is. Because the feelings and emotions are so intense, they don't want to feel it. Since they don't want to feel it, many times they'll stick their head like an ostrich in the sand and just, distract themselves. They might get really, really busy at work. They might get busy with friends, sports, hobbies. Some actually might get into a new relationship right away within a week or two. And that's really disheartening if you were the partner that was discarded. Because here's someone that you thought you had such a phenomenal connection with. And they were able to just discard you like a piece of trash. And within 2 weeks, they get in a relationship with somebody else. Another way they might distract themselves from their emotions, they might go sleep with somebody. They might actually go back to an ex-partner and reconnect with them, and they might actually sleep with them. Why do they do that? Because they want external validation. They want that dopamine hit. They want that, that feel-good feeling. And they don't want to feel the guilt and the shame. Because they know that they treated you poorly when they discarded you. And they don't want to look in the mirror about that. They don't want to accept that what they did really hurt their partner. And here's the thing. If you ever been discarded, you know it was very confusing. And it was a very hard thing to do. But the thing is, I'll say this now. Even though what they did was really, really hurtful, really, really bad, it doesn't mean that they're a bad person. They could be, but more often than not, again, if they're just normal people, right, with attachment wounds, they don't really understand themselves. And when they don't, again, they don't self-reflect. Since they don't self-reflect, they don't think they're an issue. They don't think they're the problem. Oh, you might hear them say, they were just too clingy. They kept asking me, to move in, or, just give me too much pressure. Granted, the partner might have been giving them too much pressure, but they might not have. It might have been a normal amount of pressure or, questions, right? As you progress along a relationship. But to them, any type of emotional intimacy starts to trigger them right away, their fear. And so what do they used to do? They're used to coping by running away. I don't want to face my feelings. So I'm just going to bury my feelings and just distract myself. And you might be wondering, okay, well, so did they ever actually love me? And the truth is, they probably did. But if somebody loved you so much, how could they treat you like that? How could they just discard you with no empathy, they just ghost you, and they give very, very vague reasons? Like, it's not you, it's me. I just need some time to work on myself. And what that typically means is, I'm going to distract myself and not deal with my emotions. They say they're going to work on themselves, but they actually don't. Some might, but most don't. And they may give you other reasons. I'm just not ready for a relationship. Which is true, but they don't know why. They just know deep down that I'm so afraid. I'm so afraid of being abandoned that, you know what? I can't handle that hurt. So instead of taking the risk of being abandoned by you, I'm going to abandon you first so that I don't feel that pain. Obviously, that is very selfish. That is a show of poor character. Because if you actually cared about somebody, hopefully you would not want to hurt them that way. And that is the ultimate. That is like one of the most worst ways to hurt somebody. And, I've seen on some posts where people say that being discarded was harder to go through than a divorce. Because again, a normal breakup, you can see things happening, deteriorating, and you know that it's going to come eventually, or it makes sense. A discard comes out of nowhere. And it makes no sense at all. So it's like a mind F. It's like, what happened? And if you don't understand why they did what they did, then if you're a normal person, you're probably asking, what did I do? What did I do that was so bad that made them run away and want to break up with me? And if you can understand that it was not your fault. They just didn't know how to handle their triggers. So, yeah, but what if I didn't pressure them? What if I didn't ask them to move in with me? If I didn't force them to get an answer me now, maybe I just waited until, and that's very natural to think. But the truth is, it doesn't matter. At some point, they would have discarded you anyways. Once their fears get triggered enough, they would have been gone. They would have just discarded you, ghosted you, and tried to not feel their feelings. Now, going back to the original plot, did they love you? The answer is probably yes. But once they discard you, once their fears were triggered, what they did was actually they suppressed their feelings for you. So whatever feelings of love, positive, attachment, whatever those feelings were, they actually pushed it down all the way. And so the worst thing you can do is try to force them into a conversation right after they discarded you. Because right after they discarded you, what they felt, it was relief. Oh my gosh. Oh, okay. Whew, I don't have that stress on me anymore. And oh my gosh, okay. Whew. That's why they broke it off. They had this feeling, this fear. And so after they discard you, they have this time period of relief. And so the best thing you do is give them space. Best thing you can do is focus on yourself and your healing. How? Everyone's different. I made a post about a month ago. How do you heal? Right? And I shared a number of ways to do that. But that's the best thing you can do. Focus on yourself and your healing. Because the other person has clearly said to you through their actions, maybe not the words, but through the actions, that you are not important in their life right now. They do not want you in their life right now. My recommendation, believe them. Give them their space. Take some time for yourself. Focus on yourself. Reflect. It's a great opportunity to learn more about yourself. Honestly, it is a great opportunity. You can have now more time, more energy to focus on you. Maybe hit the gym, get back into shape, reconnect with family, friends, right? Some hobbies, things that you are really passionate about, maybe making a difference, helping others. But it is one of the hardest things to go through. And if you've ever gone through it, I feel you. It is not easy. And here's the interesting thing though. There have been people who have been discarded multiple times over a span of months or even years. Some people have been discarded 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times over, let's say, a decade or something. And I can't even imagine that. The first time that's ever happened to me, I was like, whoa, that's like, I can't imagine that happening time and time again. But here's the thing. What avoidants do, after their time where they were able to actually, after the relief period, oh, okay, boom. So now their feelings for you actually resurface. They come back to the top, to the surface. And here's the thing. They can actually be in a relationship for many years with a toxic or unhealthy partner. And the reason why? The unhealthy partner doesn't need emotional intimacy. Since they don't need emotional intimacy from you, they don't ever have to be that vulnerable. And so their fears don't get triggered. Their fears only get triggered when they need, their partner needs emotional intimacy. So here's the thing. If you are a healthy partner, then you probably triggered their fear. So in a way, that's actually validation that you are a good partner. Because it's like, it just doesn't make sense, right? And the discard is not normal behavior in a relationship. Because if somebody treats you so well, you would think if somebody treated you so well, showed you love, showed you understanding and patience, and wanted to give you everything, you would think you would never want to give up someone like that. But that's not how it works with them. When you do that, the fears get triggered. The fears of abandonment, enmeshment, right? They fear losing their independence. And so they want to create space. Another thing they do, they self-sabotage. Why? Because they want to create emotional distance. And they can self-sabotage in many ways. And again, like I could go on and on, so many different things. And I don't want to have this too long, but I just want to talk about this because my guess is many of you have gone through a discard in a relationship. You dated an avoidant, and when they did that, it didn't make sense. You don't know why, and it's hard to deal with. Because a part of it, mentally, it doesn't make sense. Because why would someone discard someone who treated them so well? On the other hand, physically, the only thing that I can think of, I've never gone through, but it's like a withdrawal. Like if you were addicted to something like booze or drugs or what have you, like if someone took that away from you, you would have feelings of withdrawal. And so with a discard, because it came out of nowhere, you were blindsided by it, and then you were ghosted. Then what happens is that your body used to have these dopamine hits. Every time they texted you, dopamine hit. Every time you hugged or kissed them, serotonin, like all these neurotransmitters pop in your nervous system. And then all of a sudden, it stops cold with no explanation. Because again, they give you vague reasons as to why the relationship ended. And then, so you're trying to deal with this, right? Mentally, it's like, what? Was it my fault? No. And then physically, it's like your nervous system is trying to like deal with it. It's like, whoa, it's like, where's all those neurotransmitters? Like, I used to feel so good. And it's gone. So now it's really a horrible experience. And if you've gone through it, I'm sorry. I won't say too much about it. It's hard. But, but what can you do? Number one, learn how to create boundaries, right? Can they actually become healthy and good partners? The answer is yes, of course they can. Because these attachment styles, these behaviors were learned behaviors from childhood. So since they were learned, they can also be unlearned. However, because avoid, they justify their actions. Because they don't want to feel guilty. They don't want to feel like the bad guy. So they don't want to self-reflect. They don't want to take accountability. They might even gaslight you and make stuff up and say, you said this, you said that, and then even if there's evidence to the contrary, they'll still try to blame it on you. My suggestion to you, don't take the bait. Just understand and believe them. What they say, just believe them. If they cannot take responsibility and accountability for their actions, just believe them. Because in the end, don't you want a partner that you know will be there and show up for you no matter what? Because what happens when things get hard? I guarantee you, they will bolt. They will not be there for you. But again, they can heal. They probably need some professional help. Go see a psychotherapist who understands attachment style. They probably, and this will not happen overnight. This will not happen in a mere few months. It may take years. Many, many years. But here's the thing. Even though you may have worked on your wounds, your triggers for many, many years, it doesn't mean that you're actually healed. Because really, there's a lot of work that goes to it. You actually have to be in a relationship to see if you've actually healed. So what does that mean? That means you got to get triggered again. And then how do you respond? Do you react like you used to? If you're the avoidant here, if you are the avoidant here, again, just know that you are not a horrible person. You're not a bad person. What you did was bad, though. I'll just tell you now. I'll still tell you up front. But you are not a bad person. Your behaviors were learned from childhood. But again, you can unlearn those behaviors and become a secure, healthy partner. But it takes so much work. It really does. And if you can find someone who has a secure attachment style and who is healthy, it will absolutely help you in your healing process and be able to actually create and develop a healthy long-term relationship. And I know a lot of people who have gone through this card. Man, some people they're like, oh, they are horrible. Like, they should all die and they should die. I get it. Seriously, I get it. Because the pain that you felt, I understand, was just horrible, horrific. I get it. But again, it wasn't their fault in terms of their attachment style. However, it is their responsibility to heal from it. And if they're not willing to heal, and do the hard work, then you can love them from afar and go no contact. Don't contact them, for your own peace and for your own mental, emotional health, spiritual health, like everything, like seriously. Because you deserve a partner who loves you, who can actually receive your love. Because in a way, if you think about it, do avoidants even know what true love or unconditional love feel like? I'm not avoidant, so I don't know. But just think about this. If every time they get triggered when someone healthy treats them well and they run away, can they actually experience what unconditional love is? I don't think so. Because for you to actually experience that, you have to be willing to face your demons, face the darkness inside of you, and move past it to be able to feel what love truly is. But here's the thing. If you're an avoidant, you listen to this, oh my gosh, I understand that it may be very difficult, but I hope you find the courage when you feel these triggers to just stay in the fight. It will be worth it, because everything you want is on the other side of that. I've made many videos talking about everything you want in your life is on the other side of your fears. Everything. That includes love. Because each individual in this world deserves love, deserves to be loved and to know what that is and to give. And if you don't know how to receive love, then you can't be a healthy partner. But again, if you're willing to do the hard work, you can become a secure, healthy partner with somebody and actually have a long-term relationship. Some people got married to avoidance and they have children. And there's this push-pull dynamic, push-pull, like he keeps leaving or she keeps leaving and then coming back after, a week or 3 days or 3 months. Like every avoidance is different. Some are more extreme than others. But I just want to come in and just share a little bit about this topic, because I know that a lot of you have actually gone through this. Because when I talk to some people about this, and you know what? A friend of mine actually, she's a psychotherapist, and she went through the same thing. And she had a very, very hard time to get over it. And after a year and a half, still isn't over it. And I had to walk her through all this stuff for her to finally start to understand a little bit. I don't think she's there yet. And that's okay. Because everyone will heal in their own time. Some will take shorter, some will take longer. For most people, if you don't understand attachment style, it's going to take you longer to understand. And to accept what is. I'm grateful. During the pandemic, I was able to meet Bruce and Giselle with a conscious partner. And, I sat on one of their classes on attachment style. And I was like, pew! Because it explained everything in my previous relationship with an anxious attachment style. And then, but you don't really understand until you get into a relationship with one. But anyways, this live is probably it's very long. I don't want to drag it out too much. But if you have any questions, feel free to shoot it in the comments. I might do another video if people have questions or what have you. Definitely share some experiences if you are open to it. Or if you want to keep it private, feel free to message me privately. But this topic, I think it's just so important, because I hate to say it, but these people, they get recycled, if you will, in the dating world, because they have these issues and they don't understand it. So they date people, they break apart, they come back, they break apart, they come back. It's the same people, but different faces. It's the same people dating the same type of attachment style, but then it's just different bodies, different faces. And so I'm just like, what are we doing here, people? We need to learn these things, heal, so that we can actually start to create the life that we want, the bond, the connection, the love. Because it is possible for all of us, all of you. Yes, come on now. But I'll leave it there for now tonight. Okay. Hopefully some of this makes sense to you. But again, I love you all. Have a great, phenomenal night, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.